everybody. Today I'm going to talk about these ancient Xbox 360 things and why I thought they were better than the current platform, which is the Xbox One. We're going to get into it right after this. Okay, so here's why I think the Xbox 360 is better. First off, they came out around 2006-ish or late 2005, something like that. That's about the time frame they came out, but I didn't acquire mine, which is featured in this picture. It's the Halo 3 edition, and that's the reason that I acquired mine. Halo 3. Halo 3 was an amazing game. It came out right alongside of Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, two amazing games of 2007. Just phenomenal. They were the games that changed a lot of things across the board. I mean, when you think about it, we wouldn't have had the Halos that we had if it wasn't for Halo 3. In my opinion, still one of the best Halos they ever made. And then Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, set the whole stage to bring Call of Duty into a whole new era, which we see today with your Black Opses and used to be your Modern Warfares, and now I don't even know. They've gotten kind of weird now. I don't follow them like I used to. But yeah, it set the stage for all that to happen. It was ahead of its time by far. When you played the Xbox 360 back in the day, I mean, the online stuff worked pretty well, I thought. Your friending system worked pretty well, and then after some updates, it became phenomenal. The dashboard just functioned. You could get around to things. You could just make it work and game the way that you wanted it to, and it made it easy to connect with people with its party system and everything like that. It was just way ahead of its time back then, and back in 2008 to 2010. I mean, it just phenomenal amount of games that came out on it that, it set the stage for the, big games of today, which are now, I guess, probably dying, but oh well. Anyway, so it was phenomenal. It was the game changer, in my opinion, that really set the stage for great things to happen and did happen. Now it's all kind of fuzzy, but that doesn't matter. But it was just so much better, which, goes into my next point of why I say it's better than probably the Xbox One, the Xbox One, but also the original Xbox. I can't speak so much on that part because I was pretty young, and I played some games on it. It was a good console, don't get me wrong. There were some amazing games back then. It's probably better than the Xbox One. I don't think it was better than the Xbox 360, but that was my opinion. Anyway, the Xbox One, when it came out in 2013, people were still heavily playing the 360, at least in my friend group anyway, and what I see it online when that came out initially. Yes, there were people that wouldn't picked it up right away and were switching between the two consoles because of the lack of games on the Xbox One when it came out. But, when the Xbox One came out, I got it a year later, and we're going to get into that in just a moment here, getting a little bit ahead of myself. But yeah, there was a lack of games, the interface just sucked, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But the next point that I want to get to, before I get too ahead of myself, is controllers. This is the biggest thing that stood out for me when you went from the Xbox One, or from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One. The Xbox controllers, these are two of mine. I got my red one from the 360 and then my new one on my Xbox One. And I bought the Xbox One Advanced Warfare Edition because I thought I was going to be a Call of Duty nut back then, and, enjoyed it a lot. And then that game came out and I did not like it one bit, but oh well. It is what it is. So anyway, the 360 controller, it has a bit of weight to it, right? If you had the rechargeable battery packs, it popped off the back, and you have, your double A's, it had weight to it. Like, it sat in your hand, and it sat in your hand very well. It felt very, very natural in your hand. The buttons were amazing to get to. It just felt so nice in your hand. That was my biggest issue with PlayStation, is their controllers Like the PS2, that controller, nothing wrong with PS2. I loved it to death, but when you think about it, the controller kind of sucked with the way that the buttons are, and that's kind of I think with the PlayStation in general. The buttons kind of aren't for me, but anyway, the it just fits so naturally in your hand. It doesn't strain your hand. It just lays in your hand so good. Now, there isn't a lot of difference in the Xbox One and Xbox 360 controllers. As you can see, they do look very similar. The button's been moved up on the top part and it elongated the controller some. So what that did in your hands, it didn't sit in your hands like it used to. It's a little bit larger and it buffed your hands a bit back. Maybe it's better posture for your hands. I don't know. But I just feel like the 360 controller, it just lays in your hands like a dream and it just allows you to have very good control. The buttons are very, very close to get to. That center button, you don't press a lot, but you do once in a while. And on the 360, that center button was what controlled your little dashboard where you could, send messages and join and unjoin parties and have a lot of control, which brings me to my next issue with the Xbox One. Yes, the Xbox One is great, but when it first came out, it sucked. That's just how it was. Like, it was trying to run Windows 8 essentially, and it was fully integrated that you had to have the Kinect, and it was just terrible. I was actually one of the first consoles that I picked up that did not require the Kinect. And the interface was terrible. Like, you had to double tap the center button to bring up stuff, and it was slow, it felt like. And, if you didn't have the Kinect to voice things, it was really difficult to run things and to get it to work the way that it just seemed like a wreck compared to the 360. It just didn't work. It was just terrible. I don't understand what Microsoft was thinking. Well, that was Windows 8 for you. But anyway, yeah, it sucked. It was hard to use. It wasn't very friendly in those regards, but it did work and it did deliver games very well and still does. It's the current platform. I have the first gen, and they made different versions of these. They had the Xbox 360 Slim and they had the Xbox One XS or whatever the hell they got now. But yeah, so that's where everything is at, and yeah, their interface sucked, and it was great. And it's a great console, don't get me wrong. It plays games well, and it does a good job now. The interface is fixed, I think. Everything works very, very well now. I don't have any complaints with the current interface, but to me, it wasn't as good as the 360. I've owned this thing since 2014. I have, like, probably 10 games, if that, and I've probably played the whole thing like 100 hours or something like that. And it's probably more than that, probably 200 hours since I've owned it. That's not for what I paid for it. It was not worth the investment. Not worth the investment for me at all. I have not utilized that thing even in the remotest compared to my 360. My 360, it has aftermarket fans that I had to put in it to keep it cool because it kept overheating so much. Like, that thing has got, I've opened it up and fixed it once upon a time and, voided the warranty and all that fun stuff. It doesn't really matter now because I'm never going to play it online again. But, I had to keep it going like it was overheating. So I put some aftermarket fans in it. That's just how it is. You have to keep your stuff going. The Xbox One, it doesn't have these. I haven't seen it have these issues that I had with the 360. But like I said, I haven't played it like I played the 360. Played the crap out of the 360. Like, I mean, that, like I said, that thing, you start it up and it sounds like an airplane taking off with all those fans in it. So, yeah, Xbox One's great, but the 360 is better. That's the fun, opinionated thing that I wanted to go for with this. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. If you want to pick up a current Xbox One, like I said, it is a great console. Don't get me wrong. I've graduated kind of to PC more than anything these days. So if you like console games, and I'm probably gonna pick up some more games for it eventually and play it, like Red Dead, because, well, it's not on PC, and God knows when, and I need a new PC. So that's where we're at with that. So, yeah, I mean, the Xbox One's a great console. If you would like to look at getting an Xbox One, I'll leave a link in the description below. Also, I found a really neat controller for anybody that's a Fortnite fan for the Xbox One. If they want to go check that out, that'll be in the link in the description as well. So if you guys like that kind of stuff, you can go check that out if you feel like looking into that. So I hope you enjoyed this video on why I thought the Xbox 360 was better, and you all have a wonderful time wherever you're at. Thank you.